which I'll address in my statement, but obviously, as you all know, there's only so much we can answer at this point because it is still an active investigation. On August 8th, just after midnight, a male had walked into the emergency room at CAMC General. From our understanding, he wanted to be seen by medical staff for a possible unknown injury at this time. At some point, the male began acting erratic by yelling and becoming aggressive, especially towards other people inside the waiting room. The male then locked himself in the waiting room bathroom for several minutes, and according to witnesses, he exited the bathroom with a knife in his hand. And then he continued to threaten innocent bystanders and CAMC staff at that point. His behavior became increasingly erratic as time went on, and he became aggressive by moving furniture and lunging towards other people with the knife. And at one point, he grabbed a fire extinguisher and began spraying it all over the inside of the waiting room of the ER and towards other people. Metro Communications had received an emergency call, and CPD officers were immediately dispatched and quickly responded. Upon CPD officers' arrival, an officer made quick contact with the suspect, who was wielding a knife. The CPD officer ordered the suspect to drop his weapon at that time. The suspect entered a nearby elevator that had just opened up, where an employee was present. The suspect began attacking that person inside of the elevator, at which time the officer had to use deadly force to protect that person from becoming seriously injured or killed. I must note that that employee was not injured at that time. The suspect was struck by gunfire at that time from a CPD officer, and it eventually stopped the attack. The suspect fell to the floor of the elevator, where other responding officers were able to control the suspect, take him into custody, and remove any other innocent victims from the area. First aid was rendered. However, the suspect succumbed to his injuries a little while later. I would also like to note that this was an isolated incident, and the emergency room was briefly locked down for safety and investigative purposes. I can report to you after confirming with CAMC that the ER is back open and operational. And as I told everyone earlier, as you might expect, this is an ongoing investigation, and there's only so much we can answer, but I'd be glad to take any questions you might have. And as we do with any investigation involving these matters, our final report will be forwarded to the Kanawha County Prosecutor's Office, who we continue to work with this situation. CAMC Police Department and security staff, along with the Kanawha County Sheriff's Office, have been very helpful with our investigation. So I would like to thank them for their help and our continued partnership with situations such as this. That is all I will say at this point. However, I will take any questions that you might have.
Do you have suspect's name?
I can't release that at this point. We are attempting to notify next of kin.
Have you all had run-ins with this suspect before, a history of mental illness, anything you can say about that?
We are looking into that now. And again, I don't want to confirm anything now without being able to notify the next of kin.
How long are we talking between him starting to act erratic and CPD showing up on the scene?
It was right around midnight when he came in. It was some time just after that he started acting erratic. And it was about 1:40 in the morning when he actually pulled the knife. Officers arrived about 1:43, 1:44, and that's when we contacted the suspect at that point.
Did anybody in the waiting room with him try to handle it?
According to what we have seen and according to the witnesses, they were trying to just de-escalate the situation, but obviously it was not working. So, and at some point they had to protect themselves by getting to safety.
The person in the elevator, male, female, were they aware of what was going on, or did they just the door open to this?
I can't really comment on those details right now just because it's still part of the investigation, but you know, I would imagine it would have been a shock or a surprise, yes.
And was that, you mentioned the person in the elevator being attacked but not injured, were they like held hostage, or what was that situation, what did that exactly look like?
That's still going to be part of the investigation. I can't release that right now.
But I take it he was a CAMC employee getting off?
I don't want to confirm that because we technically haven't confirmed that yet, and I'll respect CAMC's privacy at this point.
You mentioned he came in with an unknown injury. Is there any chance his death was hastened by whatever that injury was, in addition to the gunshot?
No, I don't think they were related at all, yeah.
Okay.
I can take just a few more folks, and I gotta run.
Had he seen the medical staff in the ER for his condition, or was he just like everybody else waiting?
He was just waiting.
Can you speak just to like the efforts of both the officers? I mean, I imagine this would be an extremely, high intensity situation, and to be able to kind of neutralize a threat like that, and just speak to the efforts from hospital staff too. I'm sure they were trying to figure out how to handle this as well.
Yes, situations like this are extremely chaotic, extremely stressful, and that's why we train constantly for situations like this. This is a very unfortunate situation. Police officers never want to have to take this action, of course, but we are prepared to do that to protect life, and I believe that's what happened here. Our officers' actions were quick and deliberate, and they knew what they had to do, and I believe they saved lives today.
Is there any suspicion of drug use for the suspect? Leading to
That-
erratic behavior?
That I can't comment on.
How many shots were fired by how many officers?
I can't comment on that. That's part of the investigation.
Do you know if there were metal detectors in the emergency room or anything that could have caught the knife before?
That I'm not aware of any, but I would refer you to CAMC for that. So
Any idea how many people were in the waiting room when this all took place, or is that too
I don't
early?
have a number, sir. There were several people there. Yeah.
Okay, we appreciate everybody coming. We'll take one more question.
In situations like this, do you all debrief with the hospital afterward, talk about security, things like that?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We debrief internally, and then we also debrief with the prosecutor's office and any other investigative body that helped. And then, yes, in this situation, I've already been in contact with the CAMC police. They have a new police department, the CAMC PD deputy chief. I've been in contact with him all morning. So yeah, we will debrief if that helps your question. Yeah. Okay, folks, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.